Okay, I think I should be live now. If only my camera would focus on me. Yeah, there we go. Okay, hi guys. I hope you can hear me. Can you guys hear me? I think the sound should be working fine and the video is also live. Yeah, hopefully. Anyone up there? Okay, perfect. So yeah, I decided to just go live to kind of just celebrate the fact that my channel achieved 2,000 subscribers a couple of days ago. And for me, that's a big accomplishment because, yeah, my journey with YouTube has been an interesting one. And for the past couple of months, I decided to give much more effort into YouTube. And it's kind of really cool to see the results and to see that there are like so many people actually watching these videos and they're inspired. They're inspired by it, or they actually just like the videos, or they find them really cool. That's a really cool feeling. And yeah, it's definitely something to celebrate. That, I mean, there are like so many people that have kind of been impacted in some way or another by just looking at my video. So yeah, that's exactly what this is about, just kind of celebrating that and to kind of just talk. No editing this time, everything is live. So it should be an interesting experience. And yeah, whatever questions you guys have, you can put them in the comments and I'll try my best to respond to them. And I also have some questions that some friends and some different subscribers also placed on different videos. I collected those questions, so I'm going to kind of answer those questions. So yeah, if I look down, I'm just looking down at the computer to see what's happening there. Yeah, so, or maybe I can actually get the, can I do that here? Can I actually see? I don't know if I can do that. Let me see if I can actually see what's happening on. Okay, probably not. Yeah, so whatever questions you guys have, you can just write them in the comments and I'll just read here. J7, who do I participate? Do you mean with the questions? Well, you can just type them right there in the comments. And the giveaway will come at the end. I'll tell you exactly how you can actually win that little prize. But I can actually get going with some of the questions that I collected like from the videos until maybe other questions come. So this question is, what was it about Germany that led you to choose it above all the other countries in the world and to go and study there? Now, yeah, I mean, there are like so many different countries and English is my native language. So a very normal option would have been to go to United States, to go to Canada, or to Great Britain to do my master's. But for me, that would be kind of too boring, I thought, because it would be the same language, the culture is very much similar, and it wouldn't be much of a challenge for me. And I found that to be boring. So that's why I said Germany would be cool because it's a new country, altogether new language, new culture, like so many things in comparison to Jamaica would be quite different. And that for me was an exciting aspect about it because I love exiting my comfort zone. Like I love doing things that kind of get my adrenaline pumping and all those different things. And if I'd gone to those countries or probably other places, it probably wouldn't have been that way. So I thought Germany would be a cool option. But one of the main things also is that education is free here. So that was a major factor because when I did my bachelor's in Jamaica, I didn't have enough money, so I had to take student loan. And in like about 2 years, I repaid that. And I think that was like maybe 10,000 euros or more than that. I don't remember. It was like 1.5 million Jamaican dollars. And after I repaid it, I was like, okay, I'm going to do my master's someday, but I'm not going to pay for it. So yeah. So I said Germany would be a good option. But ultimately, the major thing was that I wanted to travel. So I thought being in Europe, more or less Germany is kind of like the center in terms of with the connection to other countries. And I thought that would be like really exciting to be here and to travel across the world. So those were kind of the factors that actually led me to choose Germany. And I'm very happy that I actually made that decision. Yeah. So this question is, how long have you been doing YouTube? I think I created my YouTube account in 2011, but it was just like watching videos. And at some point, I bought a camera in, I think that was in 2014. That was the first time I traveled to United States, and I bought a camera and I said, okay, I have a camera now and I want to like make pictures and I want to make videos and so on so I can put them on YouTube and to also make like really cool travel photos and post them on Instagram. So that was the motivation behind that, because I was always excited to just do different things with the camera and so on. And so that was the main reason I bought that. And I was recording stuff, but I never really uploaded much. I mean, if you go scroll down on my channel to like the very, very first videos, there are like some videos from like a Negril vacation that I did, but like I just uploaded those. There wasn't like any editing and stuff. But I would say I really started with YouTube maybe like 2 years ago. That was when I was really like focused on it and say, okay, let me put some effort into this. And that's when I started making like travel vlogs about like trips that I would have taken. I think I made one about, for example, Morocco. And the interesting thing also is that when I moved to Germany, one of my big plans was to like to more or less document the experience, like record like different things, like life in Germany. That was a plan, like make videos about those things. And I made one video when I got here and I didn't make any more other videos. So it was a really long pause. But then like 2 years ago, I started making travel vlogs, and it was also not very frequent. It was maybe like one video per month or something, because there were like different things that I had to do, like for university and whatever. So I didn't have much time to do it. But then eventually I started making time for it, and I was having so much fun just like making videos. And for me, it's also kind of exciting to learn more about like about working with cameras and like lighting and all those things. It's been like a really cool experience learning all those different things. So yeah, so 2 years ago, and then for the past couple months, I've been kind of picking up pace because I have more time, so now I can actually make videos. So that's kind of my YouTube journey, I guess. Oh, cool. We see there's a question there already. Well, they say that there is no second chance for a first impression. What was your first impression of Germany? Yeah, that's an interesting question. Germany for me was, I didn't know much about Germany before coming here. Like, apart from the things that typical people know about, like beer and maybe like sausages and stuff, like I was clueless to Germany. And I came here for the first time, I think in 2015, like for a vacation. It was like 2 weeks. And I flew to Munich airport, and then from there got in the night and then drove to the south, like real south of Germany, like right at the border, this place called Garmisch-Partenkirchen. And for me, it was like so cool waking up the next morning, first morning in Germany, and looking at the mountains and being in this like apartment, everything made of wood and everything. And I was like, wow, this place is like so awesome. And I remember having like the bread rolls for the first time the next day. And yeah, for me, that was like the first impression I had of Germany, like place with rich nature, like really good breads. And of course, everybody knows that I love bread. So that was the first impression that I had. And then on that vacation, there was like more and more exciting things that I discovered about Germany in terms of like the culture and like the people and all those different things. So the impression that I had was a really good one. And it was so good that when I left to go back home after that trip, my big plan was to come back one day and to do my master's. So that was in 2015. And then 2 years later, I came back and I started my master's. So yeah, I guess the impression was just so good that I just really had to come back. And I guess I must say that that first impression has definitely lasted, because more and more I've found like so many different things about this country that I admire. And yeah, that's exactly why I kind of made these videos about these different culture shocks and stuff, because like for me, it's all just an exciting experience to be in a different culture, and you learn and you discover and you start questioning things that you've been doing all your life, and like, why do I do that? Why don't I do it this way? Why do I think this way? Yeah, that has been a really exciting experience. So the first impression definitely lasts. And yeah, I guess as I said in one of the videos, I'm a better person now because of these decisions that I made to actually live in this country. Favorite ice cream. Yeah, I probably should do a video about ice cream. So apart from bread, I really, really love ice cream. I'm not really supposed to have too much ice cream because I'm asthmatic, but yeah, that does really stop me. But I don't know what my favorite ice cream is. Well, I mean, pistachio is like really nice, and I kind of like cherry, and cheesecake is also nice. I don't really have a favorite ice cream. Like I think every time that I go there, I just try different flavors and stuff. But definitely pistachio is one of them. Oh, carrot. Okay, this list would go on and on. I love ice cream, and I guess the flavor doesn't really matter. It's like what am I into on a particular day, and I just go for that as well. Uh, so some people are asking about the giveaway. Yeah, it's coming up. It's coming up. And hi guys, thank you so much for joining. It's good to, well, this is a camera actually in focus. I think it's switching focus sometimes. Uh, yeah, but hopefully it's still visible. Yeah. So yeah, if you guys have questions, be sure to like write them down in the comments. And yeah, I'd love to answer your questions and more or less kind of have a virtual conversation. So then there's another question. In which country did you have the best and worst ice cream? um, that's hard. Like, the best ice cream. Uh, I don't know. I think I was in. Was it Norway? I was in Norway and I tried the ice cream there, and like for me, it was like really, really surprising. Like just how creamy and tasty it was. I think it was probably even from Ben and Jerry's. I don't remember. Like that's like such a hard question. It's like ice cream is like yeah, but I mean in Germany there are like a lot of really good ice cream cafes, and also as expected in Italy as well. I've had some really tasty ones in Italy. I think like last year we went to Rome and there was like some ice cream flavors that I tasted there. We went into this cafe and it had like more than 140 different flavors. Like my head was just exploding because I didn't know what to choose from. And yeah, worst ice cream. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say what a worst ice cream is because like ice cream is kind of always good. I mean, it might not be the best, but I wouldn't say it was the worst or something. Um, Japanese meat ice cream? What? Okay, that would be something interesting to try. For what, like Japanese meat ice cream? Like, how do they even make that? Okay, I guess that's definitely something for me to try whenever I visit Japan. I actually really want to go to Japan as well, because of course the culture there and like yeah, cherry blossoms. I just really liked and the mountains there and stuff. But yeah, at some point I guess that will happen. Yeah, so I have another question here. How difficult is the German language? Yeah, German, die deutsche Sprache. Yeah, I think German, like at first I found it to be really, really difficult. But then the more and more as I, well, of course, with most languages, the more time you spend, especially when you're, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, can't remember the English word. Um, so I think for me, it was not necessarily that challenging because I'm living in Germany. So it's like living here and being in this place is like you kind of learn the language sometimes without even trying. You recognize different words and you kind of pick up on the pronunciation and different things. But in and of itself, like German, I find it to be really challenging because there are like so many things about German that you don't find in English. For example, even with like some of these verbs that you can actually split them. So it's like there is a preposition and the verb, and then the preposition would like go at the end of the sentence. So it's like you don't understand the sentence until you get to that last preposition. And things like those just kind of blew my mind. And I don't want to even talk about these long words and these umlauts that drive my tongue and my brain crazy. But nonetheless I find it to be actually quite similar to English. I mean, sometimes you can literally just translate a sentence in English to German by just translating the words. So sometimes it's not that bad, but I mean, of course, there are like certain things about German that just drive my brain crazy, and it took a while for me to understand them and to like figure out how everything works. Like there are like so many different things. I mean, even like the cases where you have like you're putting something on the table or something is on the table, like you have different cases to talk about these different things, and and the worst part is all these articles. It's not like Spanish, because Spanish for me was easy because you could more or less always figure out what the article was in Spanish based on the ending of the word. But then with German, you have to learn the article with the word, because if you don't, then you can't conjugate the article correctly based on how it's used in the sentence. Okay. What is the next big goal? What's the next big goal? Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out actually, because I'm kind of in this phase of planning what the next phase of my life should be. And also, somebody else asked this question as well. Where do you see yourself in the future? And I'm kind of in this phase where I'm kind of figuring out exactly what I want those next steps to be. But for now, one of the big goals that I have, at least for the next couple months, would be to try to do a long trip, like travel for maybe a month or two. I don't know how that's gonna work, because I mean, Corona is still out there, and like a lot of borders are closed and everything. And I kind of wanted to do this trip before, like, more or less moving on to this new phase of life of maybe of starting to work, and yeah, working a full-time job and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what I wanted to do. But in general, the other goals that I have would be, for example, like to put more time, invest more time into YouTube. And there are also some personal projects that I have in terms of programming different things. Oh yeah, yeah. I have never probably mentioned that on this channel, that I'm actually, I think I mentioned that I'm studying computer science, but yeah, I'm actually in the computer science field. So I have some personal projects to code and to program different things. So I actually want to get to working on those things. I actually started working on those this week. So those are kind of the goals, more or less, to kind of different areas of my life to make progress and to challenge myself. With running also, I want to finally do a 50-kilometer run. So that's going to be a big goal, although I've ran up to 46 kilometers or so, but yeah, still a big goal nonetheless. Okay, let's see what else is here. Could you tell me how I entered the draw? And my favorite ice cream is vanilla. Yeah, I have a friend that actually really loves vanilla ice cream. I mean, vanilla is cool, but I find it to be, yeah, not so exciting. And the draw, I'm gonna get to that at the end of the stream, so yeah, you gotta stay a little bit, but it will be pretty easy for you to actually win this. I mean, I didn't make it very challenging. And I think I should probably also use the fact that you guys are here as so that you can actually get a higher probability in winning, being that you're here live. Because I definitely appreciate that you guys decided to join in live as well. So yeah, thank you guys for being here. Did you meet any old okay, did you meet any old Nazi in Germany? No, I have not. Or maybe I have and I didn't recognize. Because I must be honest, like, I don't really pay attention to a lot of things. I remember one of my friends visited me from Jamaica, and we went to Paris. And we were like walking through Paris and stuff, and he was like saying, "Hey, why are all these people staring at us?" And it's like, for me, I didn't recognize it because I'm kind of like in my own bubble, and I don't pay attention to like if people are staring or if people are reacting a certain way or whatever. So maybe I've met a few, I don't know. I've never really had like a direct encounter with anyone like that in Germany. Oh wait, I think there was once I was in Frankfurt, and then this guy came up and he was just saying a bunch of stuff. I didn't know what he was talking about, and it seemed like he was drunk. So yeah, but I've never had like a face-to-face experience where someone was like, giving me that real racist treatment and stuff. Maybe it will happen, I don't know. But even if it happens, that won't necessarily change my impression of this country, because yeah, that's the reality. I mean, I travel across the world and I've met like so many different people, and I've not never like I don't have that many racist encounters where people are being racist, or they're discriminating or something. I don't really have a lot of those experiences. And even if I have those experiences, I'm not going to let them overshadow the thousands of amazing other experiences that I've had. Okay, make sure you document some of your projects if you can. Yeah, definitely gonna do that. yeah, I'm trying to, yeah, as I mentioned, I'm in this phase of kind of, yeah, planning out my life for the next phase. So I'm definitely going to do that as well. There's an old Nazis anymore, but we have new ones like every country. Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, in just about every country that you go, you find people that they are not very friendly towards like foreigners, or not, they're not even friendly to people in their own country. And yeah, you can't really get away from that. And like for me, I just try to be as safe as possible, even though I don't pay attention to a lot of things. But yeah, so far so good, and I guess, and I hope it stays that way. Did I miss any of the questions here? Okay, I think I got those. All right, so let me go back to this list right here. Yeah, worst place you've traveled to. Yeah, I get this question a lot of times, and I have never really had a good answer for it, because it's kind of hard for me to say that I've been somewhere and it was like the worst place that I traveled to, because I'm a very positive person. I'm very optimistic. So when I travel, I always try to embrace the good things. I mean, of course, I have bad experiences, but through it all, I wouldn't say that a country was like the worst place or whatever. Yeah, I've been to places and there was like a lot of pollution. There was, maybe it was very noisy, or like people trying to rip me off or something. But at some point, it's like I forget about those things and it's overshadowed by like so many other memories. I mean, like a couple of years ago, I went to Greece and I was in Thessaloniki, and I was traveling from Macedonia to Greece. And when I got there, to the train, it was like about 3 o'clock in the morning. I got there, I was like really, really tired, and I couldn't go to the hostel because it wasn't. I couldn't check in at that time, and I just went to the park and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna rest here until it's time to check in so I can get some sleep. And before I went there, a friend told me that, hey, when you go to Thessaloniki, be careful because there are like a lot of pickpockets there. And I was like, okay. I went there and I had my bag with me, and then my laptop was in it, like my passport, my camera, like all those different things were in my bag. And I was sitting in the park, and then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna rest on the bag. So I put the bag there, and I laid on it. And then at some point I sat up, and then I was on my phone. And this guy came to me, and he was asking me some stuff in Greek, and I was like, yeah, I don't understand what you're saying. And then he switched to English, and he was asking me if I had a bag. And then I looked behind me, and then my bag was gone. I was like, what the hell? And this guy, he had like a cup of coffee in his hand. He gave it to his friend, and he just started running after this guy. Like I didn't see the guy who took my bag or anything. To this day, I don't know how that guy looks. But this guy actually ran after this guy, got my bag back, brought it to me, and I was like, whoa. So, I mean, an experience like that, it could have been probably one of the worst things, like to actually use my laptop, lose my passport, and all those different things. But thankfully, there was a twist to it. And even if there wasn't a twist to it, I wouldn't necessarily say that it would have been the worst country, because to an extent, it would have been my fault for not really paying attention to my things. So yeah, I wouldn't say there I have a worst country, yeah, I have bad experiences in different places, but I would never go as far as to say that it was like the worst country or something. Um, any more questions here? Which country you haven't been to yet and you can't wait to finally visit? Oh, um, yeah, there are like so many, so many countries. I've been to like 60 plus countries thereabouts, and that's still not enough because there are like so many more that I want to visit. Like Iceland is one of the countries I definitely want to go to because I love nature. I love being in the mountains. I love hiking. And Iceland, the nature there is just, it's just such a different level, I think. I mean, the mountains, and it just has this feeling of being tucked away, and it's like a precious land, that type of thing. So I definitely want to go there. Um, I want to go to some of the countries in like the Middle East, for example, like Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan and those places, because I love going to places to like challenge my stereotypes and just challenge the stereotypes that people have of certain places. And yeah, Africa for sure. I've only been to Morocco, and I definitely want to go there to like see other countries. So, and definitely also Australia and New Zealand. So pretty much I want to go everywhere. And I'm just kind of really looking forward to doing that. Are there museums of the Second World War in Germany? Um, yeah, I think so. I've never, yeah, when I just came to Germany, I visited a few museums, but I don't think it was like a war museum. I think I visited one of them, which was a concentration camp. And yeah, but I'm pretty this is Germany. I think there's a museum like for everything. There's even a museum for chocolate. So if there's a museum for chocolate and there's a museum for potatoes, I'm pretty sure there's a war museum somewhere. Let's see here. Hello, amigo. Hola, amigo. Okay, I can take one more question from this. Yeah, best place in the world. Oof. Yeah, these are like some of the hardest questions. I think the more you travel, the harder this question gets. Like if you go to like 5 countries, it's easy for you to rank them. But then the more you travel and the more countries you visit and the more experiences you have, then it becomes really, really hard for you to kind of like gauge it and to say which place is like the best place and whatever. And also for this question, I can't give away too much because this question is also kind of part of the raffle. So I can tell you which place I consider to be one of the best places, but I can tell you why. When I just started traveling and I wanted to go to this place, people were telling me that I shouldn't go there because yeah, it's dangerous, and if you go there, they're gonna kidnap you and they're gonna kill you. That's pretty much what they were telling me, and I was like, and I started second guessing if I should actually go to this place, and I went there and it was a complete opposite. I was amazed by, first of all, the nature there. I was amazed by the people. I was amazed by the food. I was amazed by the culture. And it's like the things that people were telling me that I would be experiencing, I didn't experience any of those things. Instead, I fell in love with this country. And that's why this place is like one of my favorite because it set the foundation for my passion for travel, which is to discover for myself and to not just read what I see on the internet and to believe everything, but to actually go and to discover for myself. And that has been an amazing and a life-changing experience. And I don't take that for granted because I've had like some really crazy experiences, some of them that I kind of caused on my own, but all these experiences have helped me to recognize that the world is a big, amazing, and beautiful place. And like even living in Germany, Germany is like such a big country, and like there's so much I don't know and I've not experienced about this place. And so I just keep searching and searching and searching, and to find more or less the best in everywhere that I go, and not just to say, okay, this is like the best ultimate place, but everywhere you go, you can always find good things there. Any more questions here? Ever thought of going to Central Asia, Kazakhstan? Of course, of course, of course. Like, yeah, I've seen pictures of those places. And again, like most of the places that I want to go to are the ones that have like really, really cool mountains or just nature with like a different feeling. And I tend to do this thing also where it's like I have the friends that I have, I tend to want to visit the countries that they're from. So I have a few friends that they have origins like from Kazakhstan and like some other countries in that area. And I want to go there because they've like told me stories of these different places and I just want to go there and experience for myself. So I definitely want to go there. Like for example, also Georgia. Like I discovered that I don't necessarily need well, the visa is easy to get there and they're like cheap flights from Europe. So I wanted to like for example go to Georgia, and then from Georgia then like to more or less just visit a bunch of these countries in that area. But yeah, I don't necessarily have countries that I don't want to go to. I kind of want to go everywhere, and but I guess some places are just kind of more urgent than others, I guess. Okay, in South Scotland is a museum and you can visit it. Okay, so I just found out that there is a war museum not too far from where I live. So yeah, I guess I can make a visit there. Yeah. See any more new questions here? Mm, yeah, I think I covered all of them there. Okay. So this question is about what motivates you like to actually travel the world, and aren't you afraid of like different like terrible things happening and so on. Um yeah, sometimes I question like I have fears just like everyone else, but I also use traveling as a way to fight these fears and to test these fears and to kind of push them aside. Um, there have been times where I've been traveling and I felt I wasn't sure what was going to happen or like doing some crazy things and whatever. But what motivates me is that I don't know. That's a really good question actually. But what motivates me is actually more or less to discover the world for myself. That's the main motivation behind it. I want to discover the world for myself through my own eyes, to make my own judgments and my own perceptions and conclusions about the world. And at the same time, and that's exactly why I'm doing YouTube, that's exactly why I post like pictures on Instagram, it's to share that experience with people. I find that really humbling whenever I post things online and people like one of the comments that people like they say this to me like so many times: I live vicariously through you. Like that's a real privilege that you can actually that I get to go to these different places and I can show people like, hey, this is how it looks in the Philippines. This is how it looks in Hong Kong and so on. And they can also get that opportunity like to travel to these places, because the fact is some of them will never ever have the opportunity to go to these places, and some of them it serves as motivation for them to actually go to these places. So that's kind of one of my main motivations, like to see it for myself but to also share it, because I think that with travelers you have all these experiences and you kind of just want to share them with people. You can't get away from like wanting to tell people your stories that you've experienced and the craziest things that you've seen and so on. So yeah, I think that's the main motivation behind it. And fears, yep, they're there, but as I said, I try to fight them. I try to face my fears, and in facing my fears, then I discover more things about myself and I discover my strengths and my weaknesses, and more or less I can become a better person. um how did you adapt to the change of food in Germany? um so before I came to Germany, again, I thought like pretty much you would just only have like meat and like pork and all those different things. So, and like a friend of mine, like the company that I was working at, the manager, I think he has some German descent or something. And he was like, Oshanda, you don't eat pork, you don't eat beef, and you only like eat chicken and fish. Like, how are you gonna survive when you go to Germany? And I was like, I didn't really know. But for me, it wasn't like really hard to adopt or adapt to the food in Germany. And I don't find it to be that bad. I find it to be actually quite good. Um, I cook a lot, so maybe that's the difference. Like I love cooking, so I buy, of course, at the supermarket, and then I put my own style to it. I like all the different countries that I've visited, then I've learned a thing or two about cooking, put it together, and oh, the camera just turned off. Oh, wait. Uh, so maybe this thing should be back on now. Is it on? No, it's not. Let me try to get my camera back up and running. Okay, still trying to get this camera back. It doesn't seem to give me that option. Or I don't know if you guys can even see me. So can you? Okay, guys, give me a quick minute. Let me end and start again.